During the next half hour, we'll take you to a screening of a Holocaust denial film and the discussion that followed. We'll take you to a sunrise prayer service on Chicago's lakefront. And we'll show you how a Catholic elementary school found a unique way to ring in the new school year. Welcome to Catholic Chicago.
The Archdiocese of Chicago is a vibrant and diverse faith community. We celebrate our faith through worship, evangelization, and reaching out to the needy. Welcome to Catholic Chicago.
Hello, I'm Todd Williamson from the Office for Divine Worship with the Archdiocese of Chicago. And I'm here in studio with Cardinal Blaise Cupich. Cardinal, it's very good to see you.
Good to see you, Todd. Great.
Cardinal, before we get to the other stories, there's been an awful lot in the news about the clerical sexual abuse, and everything from the Pennsylvania grand jury report to the resignation of Cardinal Theodore McCarrick from the College of Cardinals. You've written an open letter to the people of the Archdiocese. It was in the Chicago Catholic. It was on our website. Cardinal, do you have anything to add to that? You've been doing so many interviews in the last couple of days.
Well, I just want to assure everybody, as I tried to in the letter, that we can be very proud of how we have handled things here in the Archdiocese. We are not Pennsylvania. We have now ever since the protocols put in by Cardinal Bernardine and then reinforced in 2002 with Cardinal George, we have acted swiftly on any cases. There are no priests who have offended children who are in ministry. We have background checks on all employees. We have provided all of our files to the authorities on priests who have abused and also given the authorities their names. So the things that are reported in the Pennsylvania grand jury, while deplorable and which need attention, are not happening here. I think it's important for people to realize that there are about 200 dioceses in the United States, and we all have responsibility to take care of our own people and the diocese. And I can assure everybody today that we don't have any priests who have offended in ministry. And if there are accusations, we follow up on them quickly and we cooperate with authorities. And then if in fact it is considered credible, we act on it and remove that person. So all of our parishes and schools are safe for kids. I think it's also important for everybody to calm down at this moment because there is a lot of hysteria out there. People don't know what to think. And we're allowing this moment in some way to forget the progress that we've made and all the things that have been done in order to secure that safety. But that hysteria also is taking us away from our a vision about who we are. Every day there are people in the Archdiocese, in our parishes, in our schools, Catholic charities, and so on, who come to work in order to help the poor, to visit prisoners, to work for migrants and justice, who work in our various offices that help our parishes become vibrant and vital. And so that work is going on each and every day. Yes, it is more burdensome because of this attention. But I'm so very proud of everyone who works for the Archdiocese, and I think that our people should be supportive of them, especially our priests, who are carrying a particular burden at this time. We, again, I have to say, are not Pennsylvania. And we have been asked by the Attorney General to come in and look at our files. I told her, you already have them, and you have all the names, but if you want to come and look at them again, you're free to do so. Yeah. We have nothing to hide. We're very proud of what we've done here. We've set a standard. If all dioceses did what we have been doing in Chicago, this would not be a problem today. We wouldn't be having this scandal. The other thing I would have to say is even in the Pennsylvania report, let's remember that the last time they had reports were 2 people in the last 10 years of the 300 priests. And so all of this peaked decades ago. And I am convinced that most dioceses, all of the dioceses in fact, are diligent in removing priests and making sure they're not in ministry. If they're not doing that, then there should be consequences. And I believe that the Holy Father is of a mind to make that happen. He has shown that in Chile. He has shown that around the world. When he gets actionable information, he acts. There's a freshness about his ministry that gives me great courage as I take up this issue.
Cardinal, that needed to be said. Thank you so much.
Good.
Thank you for that.
Sure.
I want to change topics a little
Okay.
bit. All right. Last night, you were at the Illinois Holocaust Museum and Education Center for the screening of a brand new film. It's a film called Denial, and it's about a person who denies that the Holocaust happened. But even deeper than that, it's about seeking the truth. You had a conversation afterwards, a moderated conversation, with Rabbi Samuel Gordon, and our videographers from Office and Television were there. Let's take a look.
Great.
Denial is an opening, not on the issue of is history true or not, or factual or not, but if you deny the reality of history, then it gives you the opportunity to bring out all the worst instincts of human behavior, because not only are we not learning from history, but we're denying the reality of history. And Charlottesville a year ago was a perfect example of opening up that door that has allowed that. And it's very frightening.
And we're very aware of that sitting in this building in this town, given the history of this place that we were in.
To take it into another venue, there are now deniers, and somebody is in court over this, about the shooting in Sandy Hook. And here you have parents who are reliving the pain of losing a child slaughtered by guns that should not be in society. And there is that picking of a lock to protect gun dealers, high-powered weapons. And so we see this all the time. The truth is subverted for financial gain, for whatever it is. But to me, that's an example of the kind of denial that's taking place even in our time on some social issues.
Cardinal, what were some of the main points in your conversation with Rabbi Samuel Gordon?
Well, it was monitored by E.J. Dionne, who's from Washington, a reporter at the Washington Post.
Right.
And my view on this was that the real problem here was that this person told a lie time and time again that his life was a lie. And so when you do that, when you live within the world of a lie, you're dehumanized. And that's what happens to us anytime that we allow ourselves to be so overcome by lies that we don't recognize the truth anymore, and our life is a lie. That was something that came out in our discussion.
Mm-hmm. I've not seen the film. Is it powerful?
Very powerful and suspenseful, but it's also a good exercise in asking the right questions if you're going to look at what truth is.
Wow, wow. Cardinal, thank you very much. Thank you as always for
Good.
being here.
Thank you.
It's always a pleasure to be with you and to hear your comments and your thoughts on these important topics.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
To our viewers, I'm going to ask you to stick around. When we come back, we have more stories from around the Archdiocese.
On behalf of the Archdiocese of Chicago, I would like to welcome you to the 2018-2019 school year. I'm very excited this month to welcome over 75,000 students back to our Catholic schools. Our theme this year is Faith to Move Mountains. Christ teaches us that even if we have the smallest of faith, faith the size of a mustard seed, we can do great things. I know we will be doing great things this year through the work of our students and parents, our teachers and staff members, our leaders, and all those who support Catholic schools. I'm also excited this year with the arrival of Tax Credit Scholarships, a new program through the state of Illinois to help families in need support the cost of Catholic education. I know wonderful things will be happening this year. May God bless us and inspire us to have faith to move mountains.
Chicago Catholic, in print or online, is your go-to source for news about the Catholic Church. In-depth coverage that stretches from Chicago to the Vatican, thought-provoking articles, including columns from Cardinal Blaise Cupich, photographs that inspire, reviews of movies, books, and TV columns. Go to chicagocatholic.com to subscribe. Be an informed Catholic. Subscribe to Chicago Catholic today. We have great news about Catholic education from two of the best-known Catholics in the Chicago area, Cardinal Cupich and Sister Jean.
I'm here with Sister Jean in a Catholic school classroom, and Sister, we have something in common.
Oh, Cardinal, we each have a bobblehead.
Well, actually, Sister, I was going to say that we both benefited from Catholic schools and were taught by the sisters.
Oh, yes, we were, and it was the best education, faith, values, and how to love people of all backgrounds.
Unfortunately, many parents can't afford to send their children to Catholic schools, but now there's hope. A new tax credit scholarship program here in Illinois offers scholarships based on need, so students can attend a school of their choice.
My scouting report helped the Loyola Ramblers this year, and my scouting report on a tax scholarship is that donors will get a 75% state tax credit.
Sister Jean, that's a win-win for donors and for students who get the gift of a Catholic education.
Speaking of a win-win, I think we should both have our own bobbleheads.
Now, Sister, that's what I call a slam dunk.
To find out how to donate and get your tax credit, go to archchicago.org and click on Tax Credit Scholarships. Thank you for supporting Catholic education.
Excellent outreach to all Chicago area Catholics of the radio programs that are produced by our radio and TV office and the various ministries of the Archdiocese. I have the pleasure of hosting many of those programs. As of this new year, Catholic Chicago Radio can be heard Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. on WNDZ 750 a.m. So please take a listen for all the latest news, events, and Catholic conversation to start your day. Listen to Catholic Chicago Radio, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., Monday through Friday on 750 a.m.
The cemetery ministry is a core ministry of our Catholic faith tied to the corporal works of mercy. It's comforting to know that our Catholic cemeteries are caring for the remains of our loved ones awaiting the resurrection. There are 44 Archdiocese of Chicago Catholic cemeteries willing to help you in your time of loss. Call 708-449-6100 or visit CatholicCemeteriesChicago.org. Catholic Cemeteries, serving the Catholic community since 1837.
Welcome back to Catholic Chicago. Now we have a story that you've most likely seen on various other news outlets. It's the story of our own Father Ezekiel Sanchez, the rector of the Shrine of Our Lady of Guadalupe. He was one of the 103 people aboard a flight in Mexico that crashed on takeoff, and everybody survived. Here's Jim Dish with the story.
Hundreds of worshipers attended a massive Thanksgiving at the Shrine of Our Lady of Guadalupe in Des Plaines. They gave thanks that all 103 people aboard Aeromexico Flight 2431 survived as the plane crashed during takeoff in a storm at an airport in Durango, Mexico. Among those who survived were the rector of the shrine, Father Ezekiel Sanchez, and more than a dozen of his friends and family who were in Mexico to celebrate his 50th birthday.
We're offering this Mass in thanksgiving to the Lord for the salvation of their lives here, that no one was seriously injured and that everyone survived. Father Sanchez just suffered from a broken arm, He is in the hospital now recuperating from his surgery. And so we're praying for him and praying for everyone's recovery as we offer up this Mass to our Heavenly Father, giving him thanks for this miracle that truly did happen. And we give thanks to him with all the love in our hearts.
Father Sanchez underwent surgery on his arm while in Mexico before returning to the Shrine of Our Lady of Guadalupe. He was joined by other plane crash survivors as he celebrated his first Mass back at the shrine. In his homily, Father Sanchez talked about the plane crash and its spiritual impact on some of the passengers.
As soon as the plane crashed, people were getting out quickly, it's true. But another source of miracle was coming out. I, as well as other brothers and sisters who were inside that crash, could have easily just ran away as fast as we could, but there were brothers and sisters inside the plane as soon as they got out that went back to help others get out. They did not care only about their own safety, but they cared about the safety of others. Where does that kind of strength come from? Where does that kind of thinking come from? You should get out, run away. Some did, but others came back to help the lady who couldn't walk, to pull out the man who was hurt, to get them out as quick as you can. We can say that the miracle is about the airplane crashing and not burning up immediately so people can get out. That might be a way. But the miracle I see was that there were so many who cared about each other.
Of course, our best wishes, thoughts, and prayers go out to Father Zeke and the wonderful community at the Shrine of Our Lady of Guadalupe. The Black Catholic Deacons of Chicago held its annual sunrise prayer service at Chicago's Oakwood Beach. People of all faiths, ages, and ethnic backgrounds prayed for nonviolence in our streets, in our schools, and in our families. Stormy skies cleared just in time for the service, and videographer Mike May captured the highlights.
Look at that sun. Come on, we know God is good. See, we were out here at 5 o'clock in the morning when it was pouring down rain, and we had a talk with God. And he said, I got you. And he sent the sun. Now that's an awesome Father who sends us his son to brighten up our day. And I think we need to give praise and honor to a God that has given us such beauty by way of the sky, by way of the sea, by way of the land, the birds that are flying, the air, and the beautiful people on the beach. God looked at all of this and he said, it's good.
Near indeed.
Well, we had our annual sunrise prayer service, sending prayers up, asking blessings to come down, asking our people to come out and pray with us because of all the violence, and whether it's domestic violence, gang violence, or pre-fight, whatever. It all saddens us. So we know we need prayer, and prayer is the only way that we know that God looks at us and answers.
Violence in our homes, in our schools, in our streets, our nation, our world is destroying lives. Dignity and the hopes of millions of our sisters and brothers are being tested. And fear, they said, is polarizing and paralyzing our communities.
When we are afraid, when bad things are happening around us and we close ourselves off and lock ourselves in that proverbial room like the apostles, what is it that gives us the strength to step out and then start serving our community? And faith and community and hope are very important ingredients in bringing a consciousness that we can be confident and we can step out.
In our gospel today, Jesus opens these words of the prophet Isaiah. And he says, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me because he has anointed me to proclaim liberty and freedom and healing and consolation. Then he concludes by saying, today this scripture has been fulfilled in your hearing. Not it could, or it should, or it might, but that it is. Prophets speak truth, and if we are faithful, that truth comes to reality. It doesn't demand that we know the answers, but rather it demands that we show up. I've worked in jails and detention centers all my adult life, and I can't think of anybody who said to me, Father Kelly, you know, what you said was really powerful. What they say is, I remember when you stood with me. I remember when you went to my jail cell. I remember when you stood beside me in court. I remember when you were with me when my little brother was killed. It's not what we say, but rather where we place ourselves. And we can wring our hands and we can say, what should we do? Or as we hear in today's gospel, we can accept to enter into the muddled mess of fear and pain and give witness to God very present.
One of the main principles of nonviolence is that you need to be courageous, that it takes great courage to go face injustice and start doing the work that it takes to correct an injustice.
In light of all the divisiveness that's going on in our country, what I actually looked at was that it was all racist. It was a mixed group. You know, our Hispanic brothers were here, whites, blacks. We were all praying to the same God, God of love, a God that does not see color. And we're all praying for an end to the violence. And just seeing the people coming, all the deacons that came from all over the Archdiocese, it just means a lot to know that people care that much. I mean, some of these deacons came from way out.
When we talk about promoting peace, we're reminded of the tough job that first responders have. The Academy of St. Benedict the African on Chicago's South Side had that in mind when they hosted a barbecue to thank first responders for keeping students and staff safe.
Almighty God, we pray to you to watch over our dear police officers and law enforcement officers everywhere and protect them with your love. This is our third annual barbecue for the law enforcement and first responders. And the 7th District Police are just great. They stop by, they talk with the kids, they spend time here. So we just want to say thank you to them. You know, this is a dangerous community, and we need their support for our children so that our children can feel safe when they're here at the school. We ask all this to your precious Son, Jesus, and let every heart say amen. Amen. May Almighty God bless you in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
The food was delicious. I had the chicken, baked beans, rice, coleslaw, and hot links. Delicious.
Yeah, thanks for feeding me. I appreciate it. I'm going to be here a while today, so probably going to have to wind up eating twice, but I do appreciate it. We appreciate it. Every year they put this on for us. It means a lot. You know, we're glad we get to come out and, you know, have fun with the kids here.
It's very important for us as Chicago police to work with our children in the neighborhood. It develops a strong relationship, a bond, where they don't just see us as coming to get criminals off the street, but developing relationships so we can open up, talk about what's happening in our community, and it gives us reasons to go out in our community and connect with people for social reasons.
They need that, and the kids need to know all the policemen that come through this way, you know, because it's a familiar face and everything, and there's so much bad things going on in the neighborhood, and they need to know the friendly face against the unfriendly face.
Right now there is this divide between the community and the police, and we're trying to improve on that. And events like this is what we need to do more often to improve those relationships. So on a day-to-day, we're out there trying to improve our relationship with the community. We just would just like for the community to respond and, you know, talk to us as much as we'd like to talk to them. That way we can work together, you know, as a community.
The kids love it. They come out to have fun, to be with the police officers, so they can spend a little bit of time and notice that it's okay to be with the policemen.
We're very blessed to have a police officer, Officer Cleary, who comes to our school daily and always has the police patrolling the area.
I consider it an investment in these fine children that attend the school, because I know they're going to go on to do great things. They're going to go on to a good high school, a good college, and they're going to be doctors, lawyers, engineers, and they're going to become productive members of society.
If you develop that friendship when they're younger and get the children to really understand they are community helpers, then that's something they can carry with them as they move forward. And they'll always see them in that role of a helper and someone who's trying to do good in the community. So one of our former students always calls Officer Clary Guardian of the Galaxy, and he is our guardian of our galaxy, so we're grateful.
I think the community has to develop a little trust with the police officers, and the police officers need to know the communities. I think the police are, for the most part, are good men and good women, and they're out here risking their lives for us every day. So I think that's why we have all the parents here. We invite the neighbors to come out and get a chance to meet the police officers, and hopefully they can build a relationship together where there's a trust amongst each other, and hopefully that can try to curb some of this violence that's going on.
And now, let's wrap up our program with another story on Catholic schools. Videographer Brian Brock captured highlights of a magical first day of school at St. Nicholas of Tolentine.
Today is the first day of school at the happiest place to learn, St. Nicholas of Tolentine School. As you can see, students are gathering for the first day of the 2018-19 school year, and we are excited to be here this morning as we welcome at 7:30 Cinderella in front of our castle, followed by a carriage procession with Dr. Rigg and Father Sal, our pastor, who will say the blessing, and Dr. Rigg will ring the school bell to begin the new year. Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay, my oh my, what a wonderful day. Plenty of sunshine headed my way, zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay.
I want to congratulate all the parents for choosing St. Nicholas of Tolentine as a place of education for their children, Catholic school education. I am a product of Catholic school education. My children were products of Catholic school education. Thank you for choosing a Catholic institution like St. Nicholas of Tolentine.
Send your spirit upon the students and their teachers, St. Nicholas of Tolentine, and fill them with your wisdom and blessings. Grant that during this academic year, they may devote themselves to their studies and they share what they have learned from others. And this we ask through Christ our Lord.
Well, we choose a Catholic school education because we feel like it's a good experience. I believe this is it's a good experience for the kids and to know about God.
3, 2, 1. School should be an exciting place for students and an exciting place to learn, where they come to grow and to develop their gifts and their talents. And we just want to make it special for our students so they know that they're welcome here, all are welcome here at St. Nick's, and that they have value, and we're just excited to meet them this morning.
Thank you for watching. I'm Todd Williamson. We'll see you next time on Catholic Chicago.
We invite you to watch segments of Catholic Chicago and hundreds of additional Catholic videos at youtube.com/Catholic Chicago. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter.